and was their best player. So the most unique thing that we were talking about earlier, I said, there's not a fifth best player. At times, Porzingis could be the fifth best player. There is not one in the NBA like this guy. So, you know, when I say fifth best player on the floor, White could play better in a particular night. So could Drew Holiday. And sometimes Al Horford. So this guy is an all NBA all-star, and an all-star on the verge, on the cusp every year. He's like, he could be one of those guys on the cusp. He was a unicorn in New York, but more importantly, I thought just as much as his scoring, Grant and Shaq, was his defensive presence, which is super underrated. He protects the rim. You didn't see all of those lob dunks that you saw in the last series because of his rim protection.
I think not.
And welcome into the Friday edition of the King's Court Live. What's going on, everybody? Ryan in Sacktown taking you into the weekend. How's everybody doing today? Staying cool? The breeze is out. It's really nice. Not the hot, old weather that we've had. The old hot weather, I should say. I'm sorry. I am so flustered right now. I wasn't sure if we were going to have a King's Court today. I really wasn't. Like in the last 20 minutes, you remember the Jim Valvano speech that the things that you should do every day. You should think, you should cry, and you should laugh. Well, there was a crisis here on the homestead about 20 minutes before we were getting ready to come to air. So our dog Gordo, I always talk about him. He's a 100-pound dog, Great Pyrenees. Fun fact, he has a sixth toe or whatever you want to call it, claw, because he's a purebred. And no, we're not that type. Nothing against you. If you go and purchase puppies that are purebreds and whatnot, we like to do the pound. There's a lot of, or we would prefer to do the pound because there's a lot of animals out there that need homes. But my brother-in-laws, there was a meaning. The mother was very special to them, so they got another one. They breeded the two of them, and Gordo was one of the puppies. In fact, he was the pick of the litter, and he is a massive dog. Now, he is also a very stubborn dog. And when I mean stubborn, this is the smartest animal I have ever been around. Like, he will do things to let you know he's not happy. He'll stare at you like a person. It's like you're looking into somebody's eyes. Well, anyways, when we let him outside to go to the bathroom, sometimes he'll want to be out there for 15, 20 minutes. Other times you let him out and he starts barking and he wants to come back in. But when he starts barking, he doesn't always immediately come in, which this time of year is a problem because it leaves the home readily open for flies to get in the house. And if there is one thing I cannot do, it's having a fly in the house. I literally have one of those salt guns that has a laser on it. That's how serious I take it, because flies, one, they're disgusting. They're so gross. And then two, they're so stupid. You could fly around anywhere in the house if you end up getting in between these walls. But you have to fly around my head. You've got to let me know that you're here. And so I had to think, what am I going to do? How am I going to get this fly before the show starts? Because he just kept bzz, bzz, right by my head. And so, like, I was about to go into full, like, camo gear, you know, rub some mud on my arms, naked and afraid style, put the face stuff on, start hiding out, camping out. And I was just stalking this thing. And I sat down frustrated. I'm like, I'm going to have to start the show with the fly in the house. And it's going to bug me all show. In fact, you probably would have heard the fly on the mic because it was so big. And so literally at 1:56, this thing finally lands on the blinds. I took a long shot. I didn't put the regular salt in the gun. I did the rock salt. So I was not messing around. Didn't even use the laser. It was the first time I saw this thing land on something, and I got it. I jumped right to it, got it out of the house. I was laughing, was excited. I almost felt like crying. I was talking junk to the fly, like, get out of my home. And yes, so the fly is no more. I am incredibly happy that we are doing a fly free Kings Court today live. It is also a bold prediction Friday. I want to get some bold predictions from all of you. Let me know. I want one bold Kings prediction that you will think will happen in the next 12 months. The other prediction I want can be anything. It can be sports, it can be pop culture, something else that you think's going to happen in the next 12 months. So we'll track them because this is on YouTube, it's on X. The audio goes to the Kings Court audio platforms. So get in here. You can call the show. We've got the call line all set up. It's actually going directly to my cell phone. We are plugged in. So you can call 916 399 3748, or you can call through Restream. The link is in the chat. We have a ton of stuff to talk about. NBA Finals, game 1 last night. The Celtics executed a perfect, and I mean perfect, game plan defensively. And the scout was brilliant, but the execution of it was high level basketball. The fact that those guys were able to help late the way they did on Luka, and then also have the weak side defender still come over and take away that immediate pass, because it was kind of, I don't know how to put it. There wasn't a direct call for when they were going to double. It was a judgment call with the off guard, and they did it perfectly. There were spots on the floor where you thought it might be coming and it didn't. They confused Luka all night. He was looking over his shoulder. He still had a really good game, yet they get the doors blown off of him. Kyrie doesn't really do much, and if I'm a Dallas fan, I am not worried about this one. This game did not surprise me. A lot going on in the Garden. You've got a lot of emotion with Bill Walton. And, the Celtics are the Celtics. They can play really good, but let me remind you, they can also play really bad. And the big difference in this one, the huge difference in this one, was Kristaps Porzingis. My goodness. Tell me what Dallas is going to do to guard him different, short of running a zone defense. They're going to have to find a quick answer. I don't know if it's a double on him or if you can leave anybody on that Dallas team. And then also Hauser off the bench, Peyton Pritchard off the bench. Those guys all gave Joe Mazzulla very good minutes. Both Boston and Dallas are really big on the analytics, so I'm sure adjustments will be made. They match up again on Sunday. Dan Hurley, the Los Angeles Lakers, they are allegedly meeting today, and the Lakers would like to have a decision by the end of the weekend. Here's not a bold prediction. If Dan Hurley's going to be the coach of the Lakers, they're going to drop that news on Sunday. I almost guarantee it, just like they dropped the news yesterday. And Shams is actually taking some today for, his report was not wrong. He said that the Lakers have focused in or have a lot of interest in JJ Redick. I don't know exactly what the language was, but he's getting some for incorrect reporting, because then Woj came out and countered that with the Dan Hurley news. So we can continue to monitor that situation, talk about it some more. Adam Silver talked to the media yesterday. I want to go over some of his comments that he made about expansion, the 65 game rule, etc., the media rights deal that is being negotiated, Peacock. So NBC, if you've not heard, they are looking to do a number of the NBA games on Peacock, which means that is going to be a paywall. So that will be something that's not a surprise. The NFL has been doing this for a while. So get in here. Like I said, call the show. Come on. We can talk about whatever you want. It's Friday. We have fun on Fridays. And, I'm sure at some point your favorite dude from Portland's going to drop in here and just take over the show the way that he always does. Yeah, I'm talking about Haunted Horse. Maybe we can get an update on what's going on with Jim Boys. Remember, he's trying to broker that deal to make Jim Boys the sponsor of the King's Court. We'll see. C-Dog, what's up, dude? Dennis, huh? What do you mean? Flores, yes, Friday. Every time I see TGIF, I think back to my childhood. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. TGIF Fridays on ABC, I think it was. Yes, those were good as a kid. Finally, Friday. Adam, if you've got any wrestling that you want to get to or you want to talk about, today is the day. This is where your segment fits into the show. If you take a regular shower, you won't have any fly issues. Yeah, I just took a shower, dude. We've got fly issues in the backyard. We've got a ton of plants. We do urban gardening, more or less. And by the way, do any of you grow some of your own food? There is such a good and cool satisfaction that comes from that. My wife and I, we're still working on the little one a little bit, but we have really tried to eliminate preservatives from our diets as much as we can, and it makes a massive difference in the way you feel. At least I believe it makes a big difference. Adam, pink Himalayan. Yeah, that's some good salt. That's not bad. I don't know if it would shoot through the gun, though. I will check. Boston in 5 if KP stays healthy. I don't think so. Look, this is a Boston team that's lost 2 games on their home court when they were the favorites. This was an aberration to me with Dallas. Everything went wrong for the most part across the board. Now, the defense on Kyrie, that might not be an aberration because throughout the playoffs, Kyrie hasn't had to do a ton of one-on-one creating. Luka has kind of opened that door for him, or Kyrie has been able to get a more favorable matchup. Last night, that was not the case. So how can they get him more shots? And then also the three-point shooting, terrible from this Mavs last night. We can talk about that. The free throw shooting, terrible by the Mavs last night. 9 assists. That's crazy. Luka with only 1. I know that was already in the chat. Boston had 9 blocks. Did you think Boston was going to be the rim protector in this series? I sure as hell did not. Bane hopping in. Monk will walk, and Buddy Hield will make his triumphant return to replace him. Could you imagine? I don't think Sacramento would have that. I think Spencer Hawes has a better chance of coming back to Sacramento than Buddy Hield. Remember his comments it was maybe a year and a half ago, where I don't know if he did or didn't know he was being recording, but he had some things to say, some verbs for Sacramento on what they should do. Not a good look. Adam hopping back in the conversation. Bold prediction, the Kings make 0 moves again. Yeah, I guess that's kind of bold. But they're going to have to make – see, that's why it's wrong, though, Adam. They're going to have to make moves because they don't have a full roster right now. Flores, what's up, my man? You guys are all talking back and forth. Yep, Luka had 1 assist. Hey, check out the NBA Finals post-game show Grant and I did last night. That was a lot of fun. There's some good information in there. Let's see. CT Dog. Wait, we have another dog now? Holy crap. So we've got Corn Dog, we've got Con Dog, and now we have CT Dog. Oh my gosh. We got 3 dogs up in here. Yankees versus Phillies in the World Series. Yankees winning in 6. Man, the Yankees. What happened with that division? I thought it was supposed to be a killer division. The Yankees are just freaking taking it out on everybody. And I know C-Dog's going to appreciate that one. All right, Flores has his prediction. Kings will make a huge splash in the offseason, attracting a big-name player and the Kings won't do any better than last season and fire Mike Brown after just signing an extension. Hey, did you steal that from Napes Flores? I'm pretty sure that was Napes's take. I think he thought Mike Brown could get fired. But either way, well done by you. Let's see. Adam. Okay, no one's allowed to have that name. Start with C and end with dog any longer in the King's Court. We're full. You know what? If you guys want to do a dog thing like Haunted Horse on his show, I don't know why I'm giving him so much run right now, but on his show, he's got like a hamburger 00 helper that comments on it. Then he's got like we'll let him explain it, but there's many variations of those guys in there. Let's see, Adam, you guys are having a good time. Haunted Horse putting emojis in my chat. Richard, what's up, man? Welcome. Glad you're here from Dallas. I know it's not your first time. You are much closer to the weekend than we are right now. Would love to have Bogey back. So would I. That would not be a bad pickup. Be a much more expensive number now. Marvin Bagley returns. Interesting. There was some Malik Monk stuff in not necessarily in the news, but there could be a starting spot for him in Detroit. Duh. Like, do we really need to put that on paper? You would be one of their best players right off the bat. So, hey, I don't have to like your bold predictions. I don't got to like them. They're your predictions. Make them as you see it. If you don't like that Buddy idea, Garrett Temple is also an unrestricted free agent. I like Garrett Temple's work ethic. I think he is a very, very, very good professional. Let's see. Hey, Grant, I am Parker. Do you know Bill Worrell or Eric Reed, the broadcasters? My name's Rhino. I'm not Grant. I am Grant's partner. This is like King's Court, but pass that one along for him. He might be doing an open forum show later today. Pay attention to that. Wes Matthews, maybe. CT Dog. Kings fans should root for Boston since they are the Lakers rivals. Wow, we're doing the what do they call it? The bilateral or something championships, the lateral championship. If you beat this team and they beat the champion, then that means we're doing that reverse. That means you got to bet against or not like Boston. By the way, that was so funny. Jay's like, yeah, I didn't hit my parlay last night. I missed the first two legs. And then Grant's like, well, or he said something about one of the legs. And then Jay goes, no, actually, I missed all four. So they were talking about how hard it is to hit a parlay. It is indeed. Kings will do nothing. They got to do something. Oh, but make the playoffs. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Let's see. Haunted Horse. Dude, Haunted Horse, man. Just get in here already. My bold prediction, Kings in the second round of the draft, Bronny. No chance. None. None whatsoever. None. Let's see. Detroit has very talent then. Interesting. Don't quite understand that, but good attempt. So yeah, we've got a lot to talk about. Yes. Seems like sports books are torn between the Panthers and Oilers. I saw that. I know which way you're leaning, Sea-Dog, but it's, you know what? I like that when I see Vegas where it's kind of like a pick 'em. It's right in the middle. You're not really getting great odds either way. I think that's a good thing. You add Monk, good team. Yeah, maybe. Laugh out loud. It happens. You owe me a Trailblazers hat. When did I agree to that? I already, dude. Why do you got to get greedy? First, I send you a Gym Boys hat for your birthday. Then I tell you I've got like 3 or 4 different San Francisco Giants hats sitting here waiting for you. Now you want me to send you a Trailblazers hat? Get out of here, dude. Come on, man. Maybe we'll talk after Gym Boys becomes a sponsor of this show. Haunted Horse, if that's really you. Might be a troll. Maybe. How do I know that's you, Haunted Horse? Do you have a burner? Do you? Just saying. You need to wear. I know. You know what, Sea-Dog? I will make good on that bet. I will make good on that bet for sure. By the way, Dennis sent me a tweet, or he tagged me on a post that showed Boston fan carrying around a Kyrie Irving doll, blow up doll, or I shouldn't say a Kyrie Irving doll, but a blow up doll of color with a Kyrie Irving jersey on it, with video of them basically passing this dude through the crowd, this blow up doll, and then a massive mob stomping the doll out. What are we thinking, Boston fans? Like, I'm all for going to a game. I'm all for you being fine with having your $30 beer, enjoying yourself. But, like, at times when I see garbage like that, and maybe it's not fair for me to bring alcohol into it, but when I see that kind of crap, I just feel like maybe they need to start re-looking at, and I know they never will because it's where they make a ton of money, the alcohol at the games. I mean, if you're Kyrie Irving's family, how is that making you feel? Do you feel like you're safe even going to the basketball game? Like, that is a terrible look. Terrible look, Boston. Get over it. Seriously. It really kind of turned my stomach. It really did. Look, I get like the LeBron stuff. There's the famous video of his jerseys being burned, or his jersey being burned in Cleveland. Even that is a pretty bold statement. I can live with it. I can't live with you passing around a blow up doll. And by the way, Boston, I'm sorry. Did you win a championship last night? Is that how you react after one game? Act like you've been there before. It's absolute garbage. Terrible stuff. You can go look it up if you want to see it. I was not a fan of it, but yeah. Uh, yes, Kings fans would never do that. I'm almost at a loss of words. I mean, sports is sports. It's supposed to bring us together. It's not supposed to pull us apart. Even our fiercest rivals, the Sacramento Kings, speaking, it doesn't get like that. And we're what, 60 to an hour and a half away from San Francisco, depending on the traffic. It's awful. The NFL, you see it getting worse, getting worse, getting worse. I have no tolerance for it. I think it's bullshit. And if I'm Boston, I'm finding out who those fans were, and I am not letting them back in that building again. If you think I'm overreacting, I'm sorry. It's horse shit. It's not cool to me. I would say the same thing about any player that they are doing that to. It's not just a Kyrie thing. Why are you surprised? Any actions from Boston, Philly, Raider fan or Dodger fan? Hey, don't give Raider fan a bad name. I think Raider fan is actually pretty cool. You know, the fan that I have a problem with? 49er fan. 49er fan to me is one of, first off, bandwagon for sure. Don't get me wrong. There are some of you out there that are hardcore Niners fans, like Haunted Horse. I respect that. But most of the ones that I see, the flags come out maybe about mid-November. Usually the tags are still on them, like, and then they're nasty, man. A lot of them can be really, really nasty, belligerent. I've been to many Raider Chargers games down in San Diego. Even back in the day when stuff got heated, I didn't see stuff like sometimes I see from San Francisco fan. Yeah, it's I don't know. And I'm not doing that because I'm a Seahawks fan. Now, I will say the Niners fans, we were in Seattle 2 years ago for the Seahawks and the Niners. And there were a ton of Niners fans that were in Seattle that had made the trip. And it was so fun. It was cordial. The hardcores made the trip. The Niners fans, if they're walking on the street, they do their little chants. I don't know exactly what they are. The whole Seahawks thing, it's C, and then somebody else goes Hawks. So there was a ton of that, but there was never any fighting. In fact, even at those games, think about that rivalry. It never got to that point. Seattle fans were always very welcoming. And again, I'm not trying to paint every Niners fan with a broad brush, but I think Niners fan is much worse than Raider fan. I just do. Raider fans dedicated no matter what. C-Dog chiming in on the conversation saying they've been to a few Niners Giants games in Santa Clara. Fans aren't the greatest. Yeah. There was a time where I remember what was happening before the Niners moved into Levi's Stadium. There was some bad stuff happening at Candlestick Park. There were stabbings at Candlestick Park. In fact, I talked to one of my friends who is or was, I don't know, he moved to Colorado now, but he was the chief of police in Walnut Creek and a huge Seahawks fan. They would go to sometimes the Niners Seahawks games in San Francisco, and it got to the point where they quit going. It also got to the point before they quit going that they couldn't wear anything Seahawks because they were treated so bad. So, hey, like I said, this is your show today. Take it over. Fridays are usually pretty relaxed. We can go any way you want to go. In fact, I might just let this guy take over the show. Straight from Portland, this guy's begging for ad, blowing up my chat. Come on, man.
I haven't verified. Is this working?
Yes. You are.
Okay. I was going to check the mic setting, and you went to me too quick. That's fine.
Yes.
What's up, everybody? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
What a great day. Is it still hot down there?
You know what? It cooled off a little bit. You got a nice little breeze today, so not as bad as earlier this week. Yeah.
That's what I remember about Sacramento. You get those hot little 3 days hot spells, and then the winds shift and you start getting the ocean air pulled in off of the Delta, the San Francisco Bay, and it would cool down the nights. I remember that well. We're going to hit 87 today, so that's going to be
pretty
our
hot
day.
for you.
Yeah, it is. What is up, everyone? Oh, by the way, Adam, look at that. I got you, bud. Wait, come on, focus. There it is.
What is that?
Oh, it's
Pink
backwards.
Himalayan. You brought
Pink Himalayan salt.
You brought your salt. You
All
brought
about
your
salt.
salt. All
Pink
right.
Himalayan, all the way from the Himalayan mountains into my stomach. Double H is hyped. I know. I'm sorry. I had a long day. I'm a little tired, and I'm not my usual jovial self today.
Dial us in. You were going on vacation. How'd that go?
I was. I got off the show, and we hopped in the car and we went to the beach, and it was amazing. It did rain on Sunday, so that's Oregon weather for you. Even into June, you can get rained out. But we had one really good day. Saturday, I was in the hot tub overlooking the ocean. It was awesome. Awesome stuff. I promised some pictures last time I was here.
Oh, that's right.
Haunted horse.
Okay, hey, reset it for those that were not here.
I'll reset it. I'm going to reset it. So, yes, I grew up in Sacramento. I was born in Oxnard. Oxnard. Who names a town Oxnard, first of all?
Oxnard's beautiful,
like
dude.
Oxnad.
Oxnard.
Like nuts. Ox nuts or something. Anyway, I was born there, but then my parents moved us up to Sacramento.
Is it possible? You know, the Cowboys, their training camp is in Oxnard. Could you possibly be Jerry Jones's son?
He wouldn't recognize it if I was. I'd go after his ass for money, though.
He is pretty
rich. You know what? That would be my luck because I hate the Cowboys. It's like Seahawks. I've hated the Cowboys longer than the Seahawks because you guys weren't in our division. You were in the Raiders and Chargers. And wasn't that screwed up about the NFL? Remember the good old NFL that I grew up with, 70s and 80s, when some divisions had 5 teams and some had 4. The 49ers were only in a 4-team division. So it was easier to win it. I mean,
you want shortcuts. See, perfect Niner fan right there. Looking for shortcuts.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the Saints were in our division that time. The Falcons. Who else was it? Oh, Rams, obviously, our rivals. So, yeah. Yeah, it was crazy. So, and then you guys had Seahawks, Denver, Chargers,
Yep.
Raiders, and Seahawks. Wait, what's the fifth one? Denver, Chargers, Raiders, Seahawks. Who was the fifth one? It was why am I drawing a blank on that? Kansas City.
Kansas City.
Yeah, you guys had a 5-team division that you had to win. You know, there were wild cards. There weren't. I think there was one wild card back then too. So yeah, it was jacked up. Anyway, Pete Rozelle finally fixed that. Made all the conferences equal. So anyway, we're gonna reset. I got off on a tangent. So I moved up to Sacramento when I was 2. I think our first house was in Rancho Cordova. And I remember that house. That's my first house I remember living in. And then we moved out to Sheldon Hills. Does anyone know? Is Sheldon Hills even a thing?
So I'm pretty sure Sheldon Hills is now Silver Springs. There are some massive and really nice houses out there now.
So last time I went to Sheldon Hills about 15 years ago, it looked exactly like it did in 1976. Nothing different except the trees were a little bigger. It's this one little community, never grew, not another house out there. And so maybe it is, but it looked like a freaking time warp. Like I had stepped back in the 70s and I'm like, oh, I rode, anyway. So, and then we talk about my favorite place as a kid was Apple Hill. So here's the first picture. I don't know how these are going to show up with the focus and everything. Let me turn my light up. How's that? There we go. All right. Here's the first picture. I think this is Florin Mall. It could be Sunrise. We went to both. But look at this 1970s Sacramento Mall Easter Bunny. Is that the ugliest Easter Bunny you've ever seen in your life? That's the kind of shit we had to sit in the lap of to get a piece of candy.
Is that an Easter bunny or a pig?
Easter pig. Look at my face. I'm like, why the hell am I up here?
Holy crap.
Shut up.
Dude,
that
looks like something out of a horror film.
It does. Like it comes after you and slaughters you after you sit on its lap and get candy.
Look at your hair, dude. You're just a tiny little guy.
I had hair, and then it went bye-bye. But I had hair back then. That's the ugly Easter bunny. And I couldn't find the talking Christmas tree. I don't think I have any of that.
No.
But I will go on the internet and find it because I guarantee someone has posted the talking Christmas tree. All right, Apple Hill. This looks like a 2-year-old me. I'm wearing underwear, so there's no child laws that I'm indecency child.
Hold on. What? Okay. All right.
I'm wearing underwear.
But is it like boxer shorts or you and whitey?
Dude? But come on, dude.
Dude, I can't let you put a picture of a kid in briefs up on here.
It's me. No,
I don't care.
All right, that's fine.
I'll
goes with you. I'm at Apple Hill eating an ice cream cone.
All right, cover up the bottom half. Cover up the bottom half then.
Dude, people wear Speedos that are less than these.
But
these
you're
briefs.
a
That's
kid.
Fine. Your show, your rules. You know what? We have such good chemistry. We should do a show together.
Dude, we've had crossovers. Peter was in there. Dennis was in there.
Nice.
Remember
I thought about wearing my my Waterhole shirt, but it's like I gotta wear the brand.
You are a brand, dude. You've had this brand for a minute.
I'm a brand of something. All right, here we go. This is me at Apple Hill. I talked about the U Fish Pond. There is me at the U Fish Pond. That is Apple Hill, 1970. I'd have to guess 74, 73, somewhere in there.
Wow.
And I caught a trout, of course, that stocked with 1 million fish. So you put the line in there and you're going to catch a fish in like 30 seconds.
You know what? It's so funny because I had this like memory in the back of my head about fishing as a kid. And my dad took us, it was a fish farm, it felt like, or I thought it was a trout farm.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget when we were driving up to like the place where you park and then you pay for parking. The guy that was working the little parking booth, he had like a raw trout in his cup and he was just eating it.
Oh.
And I'm like, that's weird, right? And then you got to catch one fish and you were guaranteed to catch one. And now I'm starting to wonder if that was actually Apple Hill.
Could have been.
Now that you're saying
pond, so the last time I saw that pond, took a trip to Tahoe. My wife had never been to Tahoe. We went to Apple Hill. We stopped. It was off season, so no one was there. And the pond's still there. But then the little fishing shack where they sold, you used to fish with corn. You'd put a piece of corn on your hook.
Corn?
Yeah, and a bobber. And
I didn't eat any corn. Sorry.
You could dip your toe. Yeah, you could literally stand there and the fish would jump out and you could catch it. I mean, the thing was just loaded with fish. So, which is good. You know, you're a kid, you're 3 years old, 4 years old. You don't get into all that. But dude, when I grew up, my favorite thing was fishing. I fished every chance I got. And I pulled fish out of places that people didn't think there were fish in. Like there was a flume, like a log flume up at like Murphy's or something. One of my uncles had a cabin up there, and my dad for Father's Day got a collapsible fishing rod when they were brand new, like the 70s. And I'm like, can I go fishing? Can I go fishing? They're like, here you go fishing. And there were some older kids. So I'm like 6. And I actually got a picture of this too, but not available. So I go down this log flume thing, and there's gravel in the bottom of it, and there's water running through it. And I'm casting a lure, like a little rooster tail or whatever, and I get a bump on it. So then I sneak down there a little bit. It's right by this little log, and I caught that son of a bitch. And I got a picture, and I came up with the fish, and I remember it like it was yesterday. I'm 6. The bigger kids are like 12, 13, and 14. The second they saw my fish, they go running for the fishing poles, and they're going down to this flume to go fishing. They're like, holy shit, there's fish in there. And they like running down there. Pretty fun.
That's great. Okay, Adam brings up a really good point. Fridays, we can go any direction. We can talk sports. We can talk whatever. Is the fillet of fish at McDonald's underrated or overrated? He thinks it's underrated.
For me, it's perfectly rated. So the funny story about the fillet of fish is when I was a kid, that was my go-to sandwich. That's the only thing I ever wanted from McDonald's. Fillet of fish, fillet of fish, fillet of fish. And you can even get a Happy Meal with the fillet of fish instead the cheeseburger. Yeah, right. And that was my favorite thing. And then once I got older, I graduated to the Big Mac because I could finally eat the whole thing. But fillet of fish, you know what the best thing about the fillet of fish? When it's right, when it's not under the heat lamp for 10 minutes or whatever, but when it's fresh. And the best way to get a fresh fillet of fish, hit them right at 10:30 when they're doing the switch over from breakfast. That bun is so warm and soft.
It is pretty good.
Fish, it's flaky. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's underrated. It's probably one of the few things with fish that mixes well with cheese. So like I would always do, I'm a firm believer in you have to modify something to try to get it fresh. Now I've been told both ways. Yeah, it works and it doesn't work, but it's like, oh, give me extra tartar sauce, add onions on it. You know, whatever it may be. So I know they have to make it fresh, make it extra crispy. Yeah. Extra tartar sauce. Okay. Here's another good question.
Real quick on the extra tartar sauce. So my favorite thing to do is get an extra side of tartar sauce and dip my French fries in it. I love French fries and tartar sauce. My favorite thing.
Dude, fish and chips, when they're done right, you've got to have an entire bottle of malt vinegar and a ton of tartar sauce and a ton of lemon. You just go to town. The Elk Grove used to have the Elk Grove Brewery. They had the best garlic fries and fish and chips and tartar sauce ever. Speaking of this, we have another food question. Best fish taco in Sac. I actually don't know of places that specialize with their. I mean, there's Rubio's, obviously, but best fish taco. If you know good fish tacos in Sacramento, let us know.
I know that's not
throw that in.
So that wouldn't qualify there. We have where's one of the chains has a fish taco. Is it Del Taco or? And it's not bad. It's deep fried fish. Maybe not Del Taco. It's not Baja Fred. I don't know. I've had a good fish taco at a chain before, and I'm like, damn, that's pretty good.
Mark, I was leaning with Mark here about Rubio's. I think that at least for me, that's probably I'm sure there's some restaurants on the river that do them.
Rubio's Sacramento thing only?
What's that?
Is that a Sacramento thing only, Rubio's?
No, I think they're regional. There's some like in Fairfield, Vacaville. So there's a place like so some of the people that I meet with from the Kings, we always end up going to Camden Spit and Larder for if we're gonna do lunch, do a meal. It's right across the street from the arena. And it's freaking amazing. It's like kind of a British gastropub, but the reason I'm bringing it up is they rotate the menu, they do seasonal stuff, but they have the best fish sandwich I've ever had in my life.
Nice.
It's like the fillet of fish times 20, and they have really good sausage rolls.
Speaking of good fish sandwich, it's not fish, it's crab. I had a crab, and once again, it had some cheesy melted on it. I think it was Monterey Jack cheese on this crab. Up at Lake Tahoe, we took a boat over to this place called Woody's, and their drink was Wet Woody's. We had pictures of it, and I got this crab sandwich with melted Monterey Jack on a toasted piece of bread, and it was freaking amazing. You know, when you ever have a piece of food and it's just like perfect, you always remember like, oh, that was like the best sandwich. And that was at Lake Tahoe on North Shore.
Dude, we always end up at the Beacon. It's kind of like in between North Shore and South Shore, but they've got this famous drink called the Rum Runner. I don't know if you've heard of that. All of those ones that you can pull your boat up to have, you know, the different specials and whatnot.
They had valet, well, not valet, but they took your thing and they parked your boat for you. You had dinner and then they got it for you.
Dude, you know how Rome talks about his valet story? And how
the crop dusting,
how the dude crop dusted his car. Well, I had to take Liam to his post-op. It was probably like a month ago. And so because of my hip replacements, they still let me do the valet parking because I was still under my hip restrictions. And not a problem. It was really easy.
Did you have the placard?
Yes.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, right. You know, funny story about that. So, you know, like I told you, I updated my resume. There was a couple places that I applied to. You know about that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, you know how they always ask that question: do you need any accommodations?
Yes.
Are you handicapped? Right?
Yeah.
And I put no. It popped back at me and it wouldn't let me submit my application. It actually had on file that I had a handicap placard and they wanted more information.
They must be public record. Yeah.
Blew me away. But anyways, this dude who valeted our car, when he comes back up and he gives the car to us, it smelled like a mixture of BO, and I don't blame the guy. You're running around. I get it, right? That's not the easiest job in the world, but it smelled like BO and raw onions mixed together. And Liam hates it when I open the sunroof. Hates it. And even he was like, open the sunroof. Like, just get this out of here. Dude, it was bad.
BO has got to be one of the worst smells there is. I just can't stand it. If someone walks by me and they're funky, that is a nasty smell.
But there's different types of BO, right?
Yeah.
Because there's the classic BO, like the sports BO, right? You just didn't wash your football pads.
I want to throw up just thinking about it.
Okay, but then there's also, this is to me probably the worst BO, is that sweat smell BO, where like, you know, if you leave your clothes in the washing machine too long and you don't dry them.
Well, that's mildew.
Okay, well, whatever that smell
doesn't smell bad to me.
Oh, no.
Not as bad as BO. BO is just wrong. An old gym bag, yeah. Oh, gosh. By the way, Flores Arf says, anyone go to the State Fair just to eat? So I used to go to Cal Expo.
Absolutely.
And my favorite things at the State Fair are usually the corn dogs because they're dipping them in that hot oil. They're not baked or anything. And when you pull it right out of that hot oil and you put mustard on it, there's nothing better. I love a corn dog. A good State Fair corn dog.
We kind of bounce around. We try to do like everybody gets something and then we do like family style, you know?
Yeah.
Where you can try a little bit of everything, but the fried stuff's getting out of hand.
It is.
Like fried butter, you know?
Fried Twinkies. Oh, fried butter. Yeah, that's
fried ice cream.
Yeah, fried ice cream. Yeah, that's crazy. The worst PO is football pads.
It is pretty bad. Football pads are pretty bad. There's nothing you can do about it. It's just one of those things.
You know, that reminds me, the football pads. I don't know why it reminds me of this. I mean, I remember basic training. We had to do the gas training with the tear gas so that you would know that your gas mask worked. So if they drop some really bad stuff, you wouldn't freak out thinking, oh my God, it's going to get in here. So we would train with tear gas, and we'd go in this room with tons of tear gas. I remember when I got my gas mask, and it was from, it's being used every series of basic training, and I got it, and we're supposed to check it all out or whatever. I got a whiff of just the tear gas that was on there, and my nose started running. And I remember going, oh my gosh, if my nose is running just from the residual gas on this piece of this mask, when I go in that thing, it's going to be horrible. And it was gross. But, smells stay on things was my point. So I can imagine football pads, because they're not buying new football pads every year.
No.
They're going to probably rinse them and wash them off and maybe sanitize them. But that stuff gets in the plastic.
Back in the day, yes, you definitely reuse the pads, or like they would let you. What they did was, depending on how important you were to the team, that's how it worked back then. I don't know how it is now. You would have first shot at whatever pads you needed. And, like with the football pads, there's different like styles. So if you're a receiver, there's a certain type of style you want to wear.
Yeah.
But the kids that would get the ones at the end, it didn't matter if you were playing running back. If all that was left was like linebacker pads, you're screwed, right?
Yeah.
But you could sometimes rip out some of the stuff in there, but it was and wash it. But then you bring up like superstitions, right? I was a very, very superstitious player, incredibly superstitious. So some guys will go the entire season without washing certain things. Dan Hurley, who's in the running for the Lakers job, carries a washing or portable washing machine with him. He wears the same pair of underwear for his games.
So superstition. He wants to wear that. That's weird. I get it, though.
It's so normal in sports.
You know what? I'm superstitious at the blackjack table. I start to do weird things.
Like what?
I mean, not weird, but like, well, if I'm on a streak or whatever, I don't order a new drink, and I don't change anything. I leave everything the way it is. I don't, would you like another drink, a refill, sir? No, leave. I want the glass here. Don't take that glass. And I start to get like, don't change anything. I'm on a run.
So, okay, really quick, because we brought this up, or I brought this up I think it was earlier this week on the King's Court, just about like if you're playing blackjack and then you got that guy who comes down and sits at your table.
Suit, which was funny.
Yeah, I talked about that one with poker, but how do you deal with it when you have that guy sit next to you that's like, you leave?
My cousin, I took him, I think it was Tahoe one time, and we played poker at my aunt's house, and we'll play blackjack. You can deal blackjack. You can deal 3 or 4 hands of blackjack one time through. You know how you go around the table and everyone gets to pick whatever game they want, deal their game.
Yeah.
And he does it there too, but it's embarrassing. We were at Tahoe, and we went to a blackjack table, and I'd never played cards with him before. And he was splitting tens, and I'm like, are you freaking stupid? And people are looking at me because I'm talking to him, and they're like what? And he was doing the stupidest shit I've ever seen in my life, and it was embarrassing. And I told him, I'm gonna go over to another table. Do not follow me. You're out of control. And he does that at my aunt's house and stuff. Who splits tens? Face cards.
Dude.
And he'll do it against the 10.
Dude, the aces, when people get, what drives me crazy is if the dealer is showing a 6 and maybe you have a soft 17.
Yes.
And they start hitting. It's like, stop.
I don't mind that as much as I mind when someone has a 4 or a 5 and they hit it against a 6 showing. Are you stupid?
Yeah. Yes.
The dealer's going to break. You're going to break before the dealer does, you moron. And you're probably going to take their bus card. Yeah, I leave because I get mad. I'm like, they're idiots, and I don't want to be near an idiot.
Mark, it's happened to all of us. I was playing a game called Let 'em Ride, and I am not a big gambler, by the way. I want to make that clear. But when we were in Vegas, there's certain things. I'll do a little roulette. I've got like my strategy
Black
there.
11. I always play Black 11.
Yeah, I always play. That's crazy that you play 11. I play 11, but my two numbers, basketball 10, football was 11. So I play, I believe it's 7, 8, 10, 11. I think that's the 4 squares. And then I'll always do maybe 1 on 11. Well, I won, it hit twice in a row where I actually hit the number right on the dot. So I won like $1,900. But getting back to the Let Ride story, it's a modified game of poker. Okay. So for me, it's the best value in the casino for your bet because you put 3 bets out, right? Adam, we'll talk about that in a second. We'll talk about this in a second because I have no idea how to play it, but I've had people tell me to just follow
craps, and he's really good at it.
Yeah.
And he tried to explain it to me many times, and I don't get it.
Yeah, exactly. And so with Let 'em Ride, you have 3 bets that you put out. You get 3 cards. The dealer has 2 cards that are face down. You have to have a pair of 10s or better to have a winning hand, okay? And if let's say you've got like 7-2, you get to see your cards. You can decide, okay, I don't like what I have, and you can bring a bet back. Dealer flips a card, say it's a 7, right? Then you can, leave 2 of your bets out. If you don't get a number that you like, then you can bring another bet out. So basically, if you have a hand right off the bat, you can get paid on 3 spots, which is really cool. Right. But you could only you could only lose 1 bet if you wanted to, if you didn't want to roll the dice.
Oh, you can't pull them all 3 back. You can only pick one of them. Okay.
You can pull up.
That fair for the house. I knew.
So you can pull up to 2 back. So one of them's going to have to stay, but 2 can come back if you're not liking what the dealer flips over. So I think I was playing like $100 on each spot because long story, we were with somebody that gave everybody money, and it was one of those things where he was like, you can't pocket it, you gotta play
it.
And so I did. And anyway, somebody came and sat right next to me, and I was on a good burner, and they played the minimum. It was $5 per spot. You know what they got? They got something. They got 4 of a kind, and I think it paid like 1,000 to 1.
Wow.
I would have been rich.
Yeah.
And that's me being that guy. But yeah, anytime somebody sits to the right of you, just leave. Get out of here.
Well, play first base. Just sit on first base so no one can do it.
Yeah.
If it's open. I guess if someone leaves and comes back, but
see, but I don't always like first base. That's the problem. No,
I like 10 the last spot. That's my personal. I like to play the back because then I know I'm not going to do something stupid because I'm in control of it. Like take the break card.
Yeah, the break card for sure. No, CT Dog, not because of Bibby. I was wearing 10 before I knew Mike, so that was.
Is that your favorite number? 10?
10 and 11. Yeah,
10 and 11.
And go figure. My son's birthday. 10-10.
Nice.
So, pretty crazy how that works. But
does anyone else want to get in here? I can bail.
Yeah, we got Adam's going to be doing his. Let's bring Adam in on the conversation. Why the hell not? We can go 3 ways.
Adam, thank you. Craps. We want to hear about craps.
No, I've been wanting to hop in here with Haunted Horse, so this is great.
Oh, you know what? You guys take over. Sure.
Okay, let's go.
Brian, I know. Take a potty break now.
I know nothing about craps is the thing.
Oh, okay.
But here's my strategy. I buy 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, and I think you can buy 11 as well. And those bets will ride until you win. You'll get paid, or if you crap out, or if you hit snake eyes or 12. So the bets will stay on the board as long as you don't hit like 3 of those numbers, right? And the probability of hitting snake eyes or 12 is pretty low. Obviously, hitting 7 is pretty high, but you let it ride, man. And funny story, one time I was in Tahoe at the Hard Rock, and it was a long day. We played at Edgewood that morning, and
Nice.
There was
Love it.
some wild turkey involved at the 10 o'clock round.
Little
Then we
101,
went,
huh?
yeah. Then we went to a wedding, and after the reception, we went to the casino. So I was having a good day. We'll just leave it at that. But I'm playing and with some friends, and I see one of the dealers look over to the other dealer and go, "This guy doesn't know what he's talking about." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, shots fired." And I don't know what I'm talking about, but so a couple rolls later, it hit one of those numbers that I usually buy, and I go, wait, stop! You need to pay me. And they like converse with each other, and they're like, "Yeah, he's right." And so they paid me, and I picked up all my chips, and I looked at him and I go, "You don't know what you're talking about." And I walked.
Nice.
Dude,
That's all
I was with somebody who tried to take a bet back after. So his argument was the dealer saw it wrong or did something wrong. I forget what it was. And so he pulled his bet back after the hand was done, right? And so that immediately brought the pit boss over. That brought like all the attention on us.
Oh yeah.
To the point where then they had to go to the video and they had to run. It took like 15 minutes, run it back. It was like an NFL replay review. And dude was wrong. And dude almost got us booted out for life. For life.
Yeah.
For life.
For life.
How do they catch you for life? Face
Well,
scanners?
Well,
gotta-
back in the day, they didn't have facial recognition, but if you got on premises, I think the thing was the fear factor, because then they would charge you with trespassing. If they said you're not allowed back, and then they caught you back in, I believe that's how their threat went. But now it's facial recognition.
Did you guys do you remember those old school like with the old school slot machines? I know they've changed it now to where it's random number generation, but the different little tools that they would put into the slot machine and like
the scammers.
Crazy. Yes, like
the little light on a stick.
Yeah, okay, so I don't. Yes, exactly. I don't know how this happened, but some guy's feed came up in like our YouTube suggesteds. Obviously, it heard me talking about gambling, and he's like this high roller kind of guy. His name's like Vegas Matt, I think.
Okay, that's probably because we're friends on Instagram, and I follow that dude.
Oh, do you? Okay,
Yeah,
maybe that's why it came
Vegas
up.
Matt, I think.
Okay. And so like these guys they pool their money together. They play like maximum amount of money on certain machines, high roller shit. But like the stuff that they do and like the way they talk to the machines, and it's like, oh, well, no, definitely because this happened. Now we're going to have a triple pop. But it's like, dude, shut the hell up. It's all luck. Like, get out of here. There is no skill to what you are doing. None.
Remember when Adam said he didn't know what he was talking about? That guy sounds like he doesn't know what he's talking about. Sounds
he
like
makes a lot of money, apparently.
Well,
I mean, yeah.
He dresses like he plays a lot of casino games.
I don't get how the casino allows them to videotape, though. Like, that used to be the big no-no. Like,
it used to be a huge no-no. Huge. I think they figured out, you know what? It's free advertising. Get everyone hyped up, watching the videos, and then they're gonna be like, "Hey, we need to go. We need to go to Vegas." I think it's good advertising.
Fair
You're
enough.
not gonna learn anything from watching hours of video of slot machines. You're not gonna figure out like, oh, if it comes up this, then I don't see there's any downside.
Fair enough.
As long as you're not filming other people without their permission, then you might cause a problem. But I think it's free advertising.
Fair enough.
So my last blackjack story, I was on a Carnival Cruise Line. My mom took me to Puerto Vallarta, Mazatlan, and Cabo San Lucas. And we were going to be down there. I was going to be in Mazatlan, I believe, for my birthday, Cinco de Mayo. And I'm thinking, oh, it's going to be a big old party because Cinco de Mayo. They don't do shit down there. Cinco de Mayo comes, there's no parade, there's nothing. It's like, wait a minute, it's my birthday. Anyway, I turned either 19 or 20. I don't remember which. So I'm not 21 yet. But the drinking age on Carnival at the time, they've changed it since, was 18. And you could go in the casino at 18. So I was able to go in and play blackjack before I was 21 on this Carnival ship. And apparently the dealers went into Senior Frogs and they were all blasted when they got back. And she was dealing drunk, like she was slurring. And I'm playing with my mom next to me, and she's got a 6 showing. She flips up a 10, and then flips up a 5, 21. And she's paying the table like she broke. She did that so many times, and we're all at the table's full, and we're all kind of looking at each other, and no one's saying shit. And then I would break, and she'd pay me. And it's like, we're just all looking, and it's like, keep playing. And she was blasted. And if anyone would have saw that, it would have been, I mean, I would imagine her ass. But yeah, she was breaking, or she was hitting it, and then she would break and then try to go, wait, you broke. And yeah, it was a mess.
Dude, it didn't matter. They knew that you were going to spend your hundreds of dollars of winnings on 2 freaking pina coladas on the ship anyways.
Well, at 18, I think I was probably betting $2 hands. I don't think I was betting $100.
Yeah. All right. We've talked enough gambling. I think you guys are watching sports-wise this weekend.
When's the next NBA game? Is that Sunday?
What's left?
Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday.
Well, we got the NHL
tomorrow.
finals tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to that. That should be
Is
a
that on
lot of fun.
ESPN? Where's that broadcast?
It's going to be on ABC.
Oh, ABC.
I know
NHL?
Sea-Dog,
Okay.
the Stanley Cup finals will
I
be.
might watch it. I watched a little bit of the Edmonton Vancouver series. Hockey in the playoffs is the only way I can watch. I can't watch regular season, but once it gets to playoffs, it's better. So I might watch that and the NBA.
There you go. Good stuff.
And Giants, of course. Giants are playing. We're
Texas.
starting this year. Wait, we played Arizona. Who are we playing?
They're in
next?
Texas this weekend.
Texas Rangers, yeah. Bochy.
Yeah.
Bochy got us 3 rings, man. So, yeah.
That was a fun time. That was a lot of fun.
And those were teams that got in on like the wild card. They were down like 3-1. They come back and win.
In St.
those were
Louis, I remember that. Yes.
Crazy teams. And then, our friend Matt and 12wood, they beat the Royals.
Yes.
And they knocked them out.
Yep.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah, those were crazy teams because they were teams that weren't supposed to win and they just got hot at the end.
That's what baseball is. That's the thing.
Right?
It's whoever gets hot at the end.
Right.
Unless you're the Dodgers. If you're the Dodgers, when it comes postseason, you're gonna lose immediately.
I just watched Moneyball 3 days ago again. It was on the TV. I'm like, oh fuck, I'm gonna watch it. That's such a great movie. Have you seen Moneyball, Ryan?
Yeah, I've seen it. It's a good movie.
Have you seen it, Adam?
I have not seen it.
You should
It's
watch
about Billy Bean
I'm not an
in
A's fan,
athletics.
but it was amazing.
I did just watch Iron Claw.
You know,
recently.
I started that. I just
It's-
started that.
Good. It's really sad, but that's
What
a
is
really
that
good
about?
movie.
Zach
heard it.
Efron. Holy bleep,
that the
did he
wrestling
get
movie?
jacked?
Yeah, the Von Erich
Okay, I haven't
brothers.
seen that. Oh, it's based on
Whoa.
a true story?
It was.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
The
didn't know that.
Texas tornado and his family, essentially,
Huh.
right? But
Huh.
yeah, it
Incredible.
was a good one.
All
I
right.
crushed that.
All right, I'm kicking you out, horse. We're gonna talk some wrestling with Adam.
All right.
You know what? We'll
you
give
next
you the screen.
Friday.
Tell everybody where they can find you at.
HollywoodRejects.com, folks. HollywoodRejects.com. And I even made it easy. I thought maybe someone doesn't hear the S, so I even bought HollywoodReject.com. Everything's there. And if you want to see Ryan do a show with me, the link is there. And I embarrass him all the time, where I'll say something and looks at the camera and just shakes his head. So if you want to see Ryan get embarrassed, go there. Yeah.
Pretty much how it rolls,
It's
dude.
This times 100 on that show. So anyway, thanks
Indeed.
for letting me on, Ryan. We'll do this every Friday. And Adam, it was nice talking to you. We'll chat in the future and learn how to play craps. We'll go to Tahoe.
Yeah. Talk to my wife about that. She
I'm
still
coming
owes
down-
me.
I'm coming down to see you in July, dude.
I know.
So.
She still owes me Hell's Kitchen in Tahoe. Maybe we'll work that out.
Hell's Kitchen. They have one?
Yes. Yeah, they open up
Dude,
at
I've
Hell's
been to
Kitchen.
Tahoe 14 years.
Yeah, they
My
open
wife
up at
and I
Hell's
have been
Kitchen.
dating a year when we went. That was our first vacation where we went to Tahoe.
Nice.
All right.
Good place to be. All right, brother. Be
Watch
well.
the
Thanks for
wrestling.
chopping
I'm
in.
out of here. Later, everyone. Bye.
Cool. As I said, you can take the show any way you want on a Friday. It's kind of more of an open forum like Grant does. We do talk some sports. We got some NBA in at the beginning. We can talk some more in a minute. But first, we are going to get our wrestling update on Fridays that we get from our resident grappling strategist, Adam in Texas.
Yes,
What's up, dude?
sir. What's going on, my man? Thanks for having me on with our boy Haunted Horse. That dude's a character. He's fun to
Quite
talk
the
to.
character. He has unlimited energy. That dude bounces. I get tired just watching him.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give a shout out to someone this week, and it might be an oddball pick, but Natalia, the consummate professional.
Very
Okay,
much so.
she has been letting all these NXT and up and coming people beat her. She's been with WWE for a long time, and they're sort of treating her like a jobber at this point, but she's putting them all over. And we were laughing about that Carmelo and LA Knight conversation and how he sort of botched it and talked to LA Knight in the third person or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think that you hit it right on the head that there is a locker room mentality there, that they are there to sort of build each other up and in turn build the product up. So
You can tell, like it in taking it back to the Kings. You could see that the playoff year when they broke the drought, like they were having fun playing basketball. They were a tight group. They weren't as tight as the 2001, 2002 team, but it speaks to the morale. And I think with Triple H in charge, I think it's probably a little bit more of an open forum now.
Yeah, and I think having Shawn Michaels in NXT too, leading that charge, and obviously him and Triple H are boys, so I think all around, yeah, they got a good thing going. Speaking of the Kings, man, like you bring up the point of like the energy that those teams had, and I think 2 seasons ago we saw that out of the Kings. They looked like they were having fun, but they didn't seem like they were having very much fun this year. And I don't know if that's if we lost someone or what the deal is, but I don't know.
I think that like windows to have success in the NBA, sometimes they open unexpectedly, and sometimes you feel like we can kick the door open or kick the window open and make it happen ourselves. And I go back to last season, some of the decisions they made, and I'm not saying that any of the guys were heard or weren't heard, but I could see where frustration could have stepped in, where you are 2 quarters away from making it to the second round of the playoffs. You take the Warriors to 7. You feel like, all right, this West is pretty wide open for the most part. Denver, was going to still be good regardless of whether or not they won the title. And they stood pat. So, if you're somebody like De'Aaron, if you're somebody like Sabonis, it's like you've been in the league for a while, 6-7 years. Like, this is the time to go. It's the best shot they probably felt like they had. And so, I don't know. I don't have any solid reporting on it, but I can't imagine that Sabonis extension went over well with some people. I can't.
Yeah, you could be right there. I mean, I think a lot of times the other teammates could see that as, hey, they're taking money away from me. So who knows? I don't know. I think just me as a Kings fan, like I started going to games in '92 or whatever, and we didn't care. Like we always sucked. They were like 15 win seasons
Yeah.
in that time frame, and we didn't care just as long as you played hard or you had fun.
Exactly.
And that's the thing I appreciate the most out of the Kings. And it 2 seasons ago, it seemed like they were having fun. They were winning on top of that too. But when when they're not winning or they're look disinterested or whatever, that's when I kind of start to tune out as well. So
Well, see, Adam, that's where I thought the problem was, because you hit the nail on the head. That was the argument I was going to make. Those teams played hard, but this team this year, they seemed disinterested at times. They just at times didn't play hard. How do you explain that? At least you knew, like, when Chicago Bulls rolled into town, you knew Mitch Richmond and the guys were going to give it their best shot, but it didn't have to be the Chicago Bulls. It could be the Warriors, who weren't very good. They were still going to give it the same effort, and it just seems like the Kings, I don't know, maybe they thought they were better than they actually were. It's hard to say. I just know that the way that season went for 3/4 of it, there was a drastic change at the end. They just unfortunately ended up running into New Orleans in the play-in.
yeah. And like I said, I was at that New Orleans game, man, and it was I just kept thinking to myself, I'm like, there's no way we're gonna lose to the same team 6 times in the same season, right?
Yep.
Sure enough, there we go.
Yep. So I'm gonna give you guys, I'll give everybody, and I'll give you my bold Kings prediction for this next season. Keegan Murray will be an all-star.
Ooh, I'm not there yet. My biggest thing is his confidence, man. I mean, like his rookie season, and I think he got better at it this year, but his rookie season, like every time he went to the rim, he was getting blocked. And just, it was brutal to watch. Like, I don't know. I think the only way you gain confidence is by doing it. And I think we saw some of that this past season. But even still, like, he's got to take control, man. Like, if he's going to get there, he's got to take control of this team. And, maybe it is Sabonis or Fox's team right now, but he's got to take a step in that direction. I think he's got all the skill set to be that, but his confidence, I don't think, is very strong. And I think that's what's holding it back more than anything.
Why do you think that? What gives you that indication?
It seems like he hesitates to like make that big dunk or go straight at the rim. And I think he got better with it this year, but even when he does, it still feels like the other team has his number a little bit and they're able to block him. And it doesn't feel like he goes in very strong at the basket when he gets those inside opportunities.
Interesting. I thought he was better at it this year or this last season than obviously his rookie year. He made so many leaps in so many different areas between year 1 and year 2. Usually it's like, hey, get better at this in the off season. It's like, eating an elephant one bite at a time. His defense just completely stepped up. He, to me, was the defensive captain of that team, especially down the stretch. But if Keegan can be able to create his own shot more often and more effectively, that changes everything for the Kings.
Yeah. And I think the consistency with his scoring is the big one for me. I mean, he'd have nights where he'd go for 33 or whatever, and then you kind of wouldn't hear from him for a couple of games. And so
maybe that's the area too that he needs to speak up. We don't know if he's speaking up behind the scenes or not, but it seemed like at times Mike Brown made a very concerted effort to get him involved in the offense, especially the play-in game against Golden State. So I would not mind Keegan Murray stepping to the podium and saying, I need more shots on those nights where he gets 2 shots in the first half or, whatever it may be. Usually it's him or Harrison, one of the two.
Yeah. I wonder if he, sort of bulks up a little bit as well. I mean, I don't know. I feel like that would give him a better presence when he does go inside, but he can shoot. And I think sometimes he doesn't shoot when he should for whatever reason, but
no doubt. Well, he probably will not get any run until the preseason. I highly doubt the Kings will roll him out there for the California Classic or anything like that. But I want to see what he does. Last offseason he spent it with De'Aaron, a lot of time with De'Aaron. I want to see who he's going to be around this offseason. I would love to see him get with Phil Handy or, Rico Hines, those guys down in Southern California, and get some of that individual work in, get some of that work in with other NBA players. Cause that's, they kind of do their open gyms, and there's also some college guys, high level, they get to participate in those. I think it would be really beneficial for him.
Yeah, 100%, man. I mean, he's got all the potential in the world, and I think we all agree that he's probably the future of this team in 5 years, if we can keep him around. But I don't know. We'll see.
Well, it changes.
I hope you're right.
It significantly changes your list of needs if Keegan turns into one of those guys that, you can go to for a bucket, or he can create for his teammates as well. That makes things dramatically different of, whether like now we're looking at certain guys, like we have to re-sign them. You can kind of change the makeup of what you want to do, especially if you want to be more of a Mike Brown style team. But yeah, it'll be a question to be answered soon enough, and I guess that's why it's a bold prediction. So, getting back really quick to wrestling, Becky Lynch, free agent, right?
Oh yeah, I think so. I haven't paid attention. I know you and I are both not huge Becky Lynch fans, but yeah, you bring that up, and I think I heard something about that. I don't. Where else is she going to go? She's not going to AEW, I don't think.
It would be the side. Look, I like Sasha Banks or Mercedes Moné, whatever you call her. She was not worth the money that Tony Khan paid her. That I'm sorry, she's not.
Hey, if they want to pay Becky Lynch, that's great. I think the WWE has plenty of people on the women's side. And they stole Jade Cargill from AEW, I guess, right? So,
yep.
Eye for an eye, but I think Jade Cargill is going to be a hell of a lot better than Becky Lynch, and Becky's been around for.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, look at her; she's a physical freak, man. That chick is jacked, and I love what they're doing. I love what they're doing with her and Bianca Belair.
Yeah.
Pairing them up, I think that's great. I think it could have been easy for them to pit them against each other, and I think it eventually at some point they will. But for right
that's going to be SummerSlam, I think, right? Aren't they kind of building to that? No.
Well, they're tag team champs right now, so
yeah.
I think eventually at some point they will turn on each other, and that'll be a rivalry. But I think I like the way that they teamed him up to kind of build her up in the WWE.
What's up with these QR codes and these little break-ins we're seeing? What do you know?
I don't know. I try to stay away from like the speculative sites and things like that, because I don't know. It's fun for me to watch it and enjoy it.
I agree with you. Yeah.
Be surprised, right? Like that's
100%.
Part of it. So it's not fun for me if I watch these predictions that a lot of times are right. So I don't know, but I was a huge Chris Jericho fan. I know this isn't it, but there's like this small part of me that's like, oh, please let it be Chris Jericho, even though he's seen way better days. But he was always one of my favorites. But it reminds me of those Y2J teasers back in 2000 or whenever that was.
So Jericho, he's been, even since he's been at AEW, he's gone through all these different like gimmicks and whatever. And so just a couple of months ago, he kind of hit that stage. Cause remember, there were some reports that came out that weren't so great about him backstage, et
he
cetera.
Seems like an egomaniac.
And then the Vince McMahon stuff happened, and it made that look nothing in comparison, even though I'm not trying to minimize what was reported that Chris did. But I'm thinking, like, how are they going to rebrand this dude? Like, there's no way they can, like, make another good storyline or a new gimmick out of this. And he went back to being, like, not Dragonheart.
He's
like
the
Lionheart
Lion
or
Tamer.
something.
Yeah, Lionheart.
And now he's doing, and it's actually really funny. it speaks to Chris Jericho's greatness. He's doing this learning tree thing where he's just that annoying, obnoxious dude that's like always got the big cheesy smile on his face and like telling you like the Mr. Obvious stuff. But well done,
made the
Mark.
list?
Mark.
Is this a good list?
Mark just said,
I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
he said, you guys just made the list.
Oh
Good
yeah.
job, Mark. Well
Right.
done, dude. Well done, Mark. Comment of the day.
That's funny. We love that.
That was funny.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the best Chris Jericho, but I don't know if he could maybe keep up with the roster on WWE physically at this point. Dude's got to be 50. Not that you can't do it. I mean, Ric Flair did it forever, but
Look how that worked out.
yeah, he's not looking so great these
No,
days.
he
That's for
is not.
sure.
No, he is not. Ric Flair has seen better days.
Some stuff outside of the ring, I'm sure. You know,
That dude lived he lived his gimmick. Like that was the thing. Like that dude was crazy.
I will say that Iron Claw movie, the one thing they did a terrible job with was the Ric Flair character. I don't know, it bugged me. He just wasn't he didn't have that like pop when he said it, and it bummed me out.
But was he like Ric Flair as we know him today at his greatest?
Not quite,
or was it like an early Ric Flair?
Yeah, it was an early Ric Flair when he was still wrestling in like the local southern circuits. So yeah, he might not have been that, but you know, even like the Rolex wearing, I'm trying to hold these gators down. Like,
yeah,
it didn't have that flair to the Ric Flair.
The flair to the Ric Flair. I like that. There's a NXT pay-per-view this weekend.
I don't know. I like I said before, I pretty much just watch Raw and SmackDown. You know, with everything that I watch, I would say that I am a casual. Okay, but that's okay. So I don't watch a ton of the NXT stuff. I mean, they'll show a little bit of it here and there, but
yeah,
they got one chick that's like the women's champion down there now that is huge. So she'll probably be getting called up here pretty soon as well.
This is true. Oh, Mark's hopping in. I did not finish the movie. I'm only about like 45 minutes into it. Why was Zach playing Kevin Von Erich? Wasn't Kevin the smallest of the Von Erichs body-wise? Holy crap, dude.
Well, I think he was like the shortest character in the movie. So
yeah, he was the shortest. Yeah.
They had the other skinnier, taller brother that was the first one to kill himself, but I don't know.
I don't know enough about their story. I knew it was sad. I knew they were great, but I didn't know like exactly what happened.
Well, and I only knew, you know, that Texas Tornado ended up killing himself. I didn't know it was all the other brothers and all that stuff. So
is Texas Tornado the dad? I'm guessing.
No, he was like one of the middle sons. Yeah, I don't know. There's 4 sons, and he was kind of one of the middle ones.
Got it. I got up until the point where, and I'm not going to give any spoilers away, but where Zach's character meets the girl, you know, and he's like really awkward, you know, like
yeah.
That's where I had to stop it because I had to get ready for the shows. But yeah, like they weren't socialized. It felt like they were just like kind of babied and just like, I don't know, expected to always be at home.
Yeah. Yeah, Kerry was the Texas Tornado. I didn't know that Texas Tornado didn't have a bottom half of his leg.
What?
He had a prosthetic.
Wow. Incredible.
Yeah, that was kind of wild. So
Interesting. Well, cool, man.
Yeah.
I know SmackDown's coming up for you pretty soon.
yeah, here
You
in a
got
little
about
bit.
90 minutes, so lovely. Any
Cool.
anything? What's going on SmackDown tonight? Do you know if they
I don't
announced anything?
I don't know. I don't look at that stuff. Like I said, I just wait for
Well,
it to
just from
happen.
last week, like because
Oh,
you watched last week's show. Did they
well,
announce?
yeah, they do, but I don't. I kind of go back and forth. So what I do usually is wait for it to start. I'll put the kids to bed, wait for it to start, and then I can fast forward through all the commercials.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I kind of skip some of the intros and outros as they go to commercial break. But here's my plea before you kick me out of here. Jay Uso and Jimmy Uso, can we please reunite them? And I think they will, but
Oh no! Really?
I don't like Jay without Jimmy. That's just me. But I just wish that I feel like they could be super likable if they bring the Usos back together. Why
I
don't you
don't
like
like.
that?
I don't like Jimmy with Jay. Or yeah, I don't like Jay with Jimmy. Excuse me. I like what they did with Jimmy's character was so awkward with the bloodline, like how he was just like always like smiley and just like kind of like head in the clouds. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I think that Jay is gonna be getting probably a pretty big run here soon.
Yeah, he will. I still don't know if Jay's mic skills are completely there. Like,
Yeah.
and so that's why I kind of like them together. I think they can kind of play off of each other a little bit
Yeah.
more. And,
Yep.
but and then they could go after the bloodline and take them down. And I don't know.
But we've
Whatever.
seen that. You know what I mean? Doesn't it feel like that's what's going to happen? Like eventually Roman comes back and that's
Yeah.
where Jimmy re-enters, and I don't know if like Roman brings somebody with him, but I don't know. The solo stuff, it's flopping.
Dude, it's not good. It's not great.
Not going well. Yeah.
No, I'm not feeling very oozy. No.
Yeah, he doesn't feel like yeeting.
You know what? Speaking about the Usi thing, right? Before Sami Zayn joined the bloodline, he called himself the master manipulator. And I think they blew a perfect opportunity to have Sami turn his back on the bloodline and lose Roman the title. That's just my opinion. But I think they could have, whatever.
Well, now we're getting another dose of I don't know if you caught it, of AJ Styles and Cody Rhodes, but when he went to give him the move, the Styles Clash, is that what it's called? I think. He went to give him the Styles Clash at the end of the show last week, and he kicked him in the face. Did you see that? Like he backlegged him in the face, and I'm like, oh crap, that's gonna hurt.
Yeah. I kind of fell for it. I thought that AJ actually might have retired that night, but because I mean, if you know about AJ, I guess he's a huge family man, and so
yes,
he had his title shot. It's gone, but looks like they're gonna run that storyline a little bit longer, which is cool.
They got
I think it's given him a little more life, but.
I agree. I think they've got a bridge to, probably SummerSlam where it's going to be, it seems like Gunther's going to go after the World Heavyweight Championship.
I love it.
But let's see. So if we start thinking about Money in the Bank, you're probably going to have a face on the Raw side and a heel on the SmackDown side, unless they're only going to do one briefcase for both titles.
I think they usually do just one briefcase, and then you get to pick. Like you could use it on any belt.
Got it.
I think it could be maybe it's an LA Knight, maybe it's, he's not Raw, but Drew McIntyre, is he a face? Is he a heel? I think he's a little bit of both kind of right now. He's sort of floating a little bit.
What about Braun Breaker? This dude's getting a ton of push.
Yeah, come on. Who doesn't love the Steiner brothers? I always loved Rick Steiner. That's his dad. I always loved Big Papa Pump when he was in the NWO. And his kid, man, that dude hauls ass inside the ring. I don't know if you've seen how
Yeah,
fast
it's
that
unreal.
dude-
It's
yeah, I've never seen
stupid.
anyone move like that. And his dad and his uncle were both Michigan wrestlers. I think they won a national championship, but don't quote me on that. But so he comes from the pedigree, man, and I hope he, I don't think they're gonna just waste him. So I'm stoked for him to finally get his time, but I don't know if it's yet.
Yeah, they got time with that. He feels like a guy that could get held over until Royal Rumble-ish time and maybe be
Yeah,
a threat there.
actually, you were talking about it. LA Knight going for Logan Paul. I love that. Like,
Yeah, it's
that is a
perfect.
great belt for him. And get it out of Logan Paul's hands. Like, the guy doesn't show up except for, every other PLE or whatever.
I'm with you. I think we're gonna see Orton and Cody at SummerSlam. I don't read this stuff, but that's where I think they're headed.
Yeah, I could see that too. Is Orton on Raw though?
SmackDown.
He is on SmackDown. Yeah, then that makes sense, and I think they could do that. And I think Cody still retains if that is the case. But
Yeah, indeed. Well, dude, I'm gonna let you get to your weekend. We're gonna get
Yeah,
ready to
thank you,
wrap
brother.
up here, but I appreciate you joining in, giving us your crap story, giving us the wrestling. Which shirt do you got on right now? What is that?
Oh yeah, it's Friday Night SmackDown.
Oh, you got an
we
LA
the
Knight shirt. There you go. I
That's our
like it.
boy.
He needs a better vest though. That vest
Yeah,
annoys the
well,
hell
when
out of me.
they got like the flares coming out, I don't know about that one.
I don't know what he's doing.
Just give him
And
like a Stone Cold vest.
Yeah, and then he's got like these hybrid, like kind of
Jordan
Jordan
11s.
wrestling boots. Like it's
I'm
just
all right
weird.
with those, but the puffy vest, no, I'm good.
The sunglasses too, the round glasses.
Okay,
Dude, he needs to spend a weekend with me. I'll get him looking right.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Be well. Thanks for
All
always
right, my
being
man.
here and
Thank you.
chiming in. Appreciate you, Adam.
Appreciate it.
Fun stuff today. Little bit off the rails, off topic, but that's what we do here on the King's Court on Fridays. We let you guys come in, let you have a good time. Again, the NBA Finals, if I'm Dallas, I like where I'm at. I think Dallas bounced back, wins game 2 on Sunday. Boston, remember, let Dallas within 8 last night. They were within 8. And the Celtics absolutely owned. And here's a surprising stat, by the way. Dallas won the points in the paint battle. So I think Dallas will find a way to get more creative. They're certainly going to have to talk more if Boston tries at all to do those late doubles on Luka again. But I know, so the 2 regular season meetings between those teams, the Celtics won by an average of 18.5 points. So last night's game falls into line with what happened in the regular season, but both of those regular season meetings happened before they made the trades, or not the trades, but the trades at the trade deadline to bring in Gafford and PJ Washington. I just don't see another game where Dallas is going to shoot 25.9% from beyond the arc. I just don't see it. 63% from the free throw line. I mean, they had their opportunities. Both teams took 19 free throws. I just think that Dallas bounces back. Luka will have a big game. I think Kyrie bounces back. Shame on you, Boston fans. That was garbage. And I know it's the minority that is the problem. It's just a few of you. It's not the entire fan base for the most part. I thought it was a beautiful, beautiful tribute to Bill Walton at the beginning of the game. I love that the Celtics were wearing the Walton shooting shirts. It was so cool. I don't know if you noticed it. Luke was in the box. They had the entire Walton family there. My buddy, Chris, who I played with at SDSU, he was there as well. Good seeing Tuffy. Obviously, wish you saw him under better circumstances. So there was a lot to play for with Boston. But Boston, much like the Kings, they have been known to have letdowns. And again, I think it's going to be a much better game on Sunday night, and I think Dallas prevails. Remember, Dallas was blown out in the first game against Oklahoma City, and then they came back 1-2 in OKC. So I, again, like where Dallas sits. I think Jason Kidd is the better coach. I think they make adjustments, and they find a way to get those Twin Towers more involved. Now, the asterisk to all that is Kristaps Porzingis. Is Kristaps plays the way he played last night, Dallas has no shot at winning this series. They have no answer on how to guard him right now. Luka can't do it. Certainly Jones was not able to do it. Lively could not do it. So what does Dallas do to maybe get Porzingis? Maybe you try to get the guy into foul trouble. Test him. Make him work that hamstring. They didn't really make him work as hard as I thought they should have last night. But again, one of the big points that not enough people are talking about was the fact that the Celtics scored 37 in the first quarter. That means they were able to pretty much set up their defense most of that quarter, do what they want. Dallas could not get out and run. They were playing in the court, and if you know Dallas, they would rather run a little bit. Dallas needs to do a better job of controlling that pace, and I think Jason Kidd maybe a little better job. Get a little more Mike Brown in the finals in you, and call a few timeouts, break those runs up if you can. That was a really quick game last night, too. The first half went very, very fast. You got the Stanley Cup finals kicking off tomorrow night. Sea-Dog told us that it is basically a coin flip. Vegas doesn't know which way to go between the Florida Panthers and the Edmonton Oilers. That one kicks off from Florida. Look, Grant said the X factor, and I'm going to rely on him and Sea-Dog because they know hockey much better than I do, is going to be the goaltending. So can Skinner for Edmonton remain hot behind or in front of the net, or vice versa? Will the Panthers goaltender, because I don't know his name. I'll be honest with you. I do not, but I know he is one of the best in the league, and he has been playing lights out. Progressive, what's up? She's saying Boston in 6. All right, Boston in 6. I've got Dallas in 6 still. I don't think last night changes anything. Mark hopping in. Dallas should double Brown and Tatum when they have the ball. They don't handle the ball great. It's a great point, Mark. That was one of the things that I led with at the top of the show. Jason Tatum turned the ball over 6 times last night. 6 times. That is a lot of turnovers. And then Jaylen Brown, as you point out, he had 2. Derek White had 2. That's 10 turnovers from 3 of your starters. That is too many. And Dallas really didn't play great defense last night. So maybe Dallas finds a way to further expose that as well. WWE, you have SmackDown tonight. NXT has a pay-per-view or a premium live event on Sunday. So plenty to choose from. I believe the American Century Celebrity Tournament is going on in Tahoe. I didn't check up on that, but I think it is. So you might be able to check that out as well. Some stories we didn't get to, which I'm glad we didn't have time for. We'll get to those on Friday. One that I do want to touch on quickly. One of the Chiefs players went into cardiac arrest. He is awake, doing good, according to his agent. So happy to hear that. Again, we talked yesterday about AEDs and how important they are. So if your school or your kid's school doesn't have one, speak up. They should. They save lives. It is literally the one thing that can save somebody's life in that position. It has been a very, very fun week with all of you. Thank you so much for being here. I love it. I really do. The community we're building is a lot of fun. Stay cool this weekend. Indeed, enjoy the finals. The finals, both the NBA and Stanley Cup. We will keep an eye on the Dan Hurley to the Lakers. I'm calling my shot. It will be announced if he ends up being the coach of the Lakers. Those Delta Bravos, the Lakers, and if you know what Delta Bravos means, you know I'm calling them DBs. They will announce it on Sunday and try to take over game 2 just as they did game 1. Appreciate it, Horace. Appreciate it, BJ. You guys are all the best. Mark, everybody that has shown up today. Now we have another dog in the chat. We have CT Dog now. That makes 3. By the way, Corn Dog, hope you're feeling better, bud. I know you are probably watching from afar. So anyways, don't forget, by the way, don't forget, this weekend, you get a King's Court Saturday. You also get a King's Court on Sunday. So look for those on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And then I'm not sure if Napes is going to pop up today, but make sure you are subscribed to If You Don't Like That. You will know if Napes is coming on to do an open forum show. You can also check out our entire catalog of work dating back 2 seasons. Remember, we do a pregame, postgame, and a halftime show every Kings game. So you can go check all those out, plus some really cool exclusive interviews. Monday, we will be back live in the King's Court. Make it a great weekend. Tadora, tell the people.
Holy moly, Jimbaboli.
Go Kings, light the damn beam. Oh,
I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
there's not going to be another live King's Court until Monday at 2 o'clock Pacific, which then will break down the sports weekend in game 2 of the NBA Finals. Make it a great one, everybody. Go Kings, light the damn beam. Court is dismissed until Monday.